Hey, there we go. I think we're live. I think that we are live. Maybe? Yep, there we go. Yes, it is the Corvus Cast. It is time. It is time. All right. Yep, now we're live. Okay. I got the official email. It said that I'm live now. Sorry for the delay. I had a little bit of technical difficulties. I have a camera in front of me that I'm not a huge fan of, and it is constantly giving me troubles. I really need to get rid of it. I replaced it for this camera that's over here on my right side, and then I decided I liked that camera because of the autofocus over here on the right, and so I kept it over in that location. And so I'm working on getting another one. But anyways, I digress. I digest. I'm not sure. I'm doing all of those things right now. So my name is Tim. This is the Corvus Cast. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody for coming and being a part of like this Corvus Saber Foundry adventure that I'm working on. And I have some really big news, a huge announcement today. So coming tonight, actually it's live on the site now. So everybody that's tuning into the cast, if you haven't heard or you don't know, there's kind of a big part that's being released right now. It's the MPPM. I've been talking about it for months. I'm hoping that this is casting. Yep, it is. I've been talking about it for months. I'm super duper excited about it. I love it. I think that it's cool, and there's nothing like it quite on the market right now at this point. And so I launched it live this evening. It's officially going to go live tomorrow. So there'll be more opportunity for people to see it when I start posting more additional things. But it was destined to be out on the 1st of March. It is currently going to be rolling into the 1st of March. You guys get like 4 hours ahead of time to grab it. So the MPPM is launching. I'll show you over here on the right hand side when we start getting into the space. I'm going to get the black gloves out, and that way you can see all the things. I'm putting them on right now so you don't have to look at my fingers. Lots of crazy things happening right now, and I'll show you all the stuff that's kind of gone on in behind the scenes thing. So this month, or I guess this month for February timeframe, we launched two new CSKs, so component schema kits, which I'm really happy and excited about. I love the component schema kit concept, and we're starting to get people interested in providing things for that program. So I'm hoping that we'll start seeing more of them show up. I also have launched, I think, 2 new parts as well earlier this month, which was the adapter type 4 and 4.1. I think, I can't tell, I'm not exactly sure, but it was the last 2 sets of the 50 spot adapter that we were pursuing previously. Let me look at my Facebook feed? Nah, that's not it. Let me look in my the other feeds here and see what we have. Yeah, so we is live. All right, cool. Yep. I'm going to take an opportunity right now. If you are not in Discord and you think you should be, I also agree that you should be. Discord is the method by which I usually communicate with people and my constituents. I don't say constituents, that doesn't sound right. The way that I communicate with people in my community. And so if you don't have Discord and you want to put some inputs in, you want to talk about some stuff, you should come and check out our Discord. If you're just in Discord, you look up Corvus Saber Foundry's Roost. That's my place. Shoot me a message. I'll get you an invite. And usually I have a bunch of invites floating around on different social media platforms. You can probably find one maybe in Reddit or different places like that. But you can see it. It's definitely available. It's out there. And if not, just shoot me a message. It's Corvus Saber Foundry. I believe it's all underscores. I don't remember. Let me look at it really fast here. Yeah, I think that's it. I have it in protected mode because we're in stream currently, but it's whatever. Yes, hit me up in Discord. Let's talk. Let's discuss some things, and we'll figure out which things you want to add to or which thing you want to contribute to if you're interested in doing that. Otherwise, just come for the conversation and discussion. We talk about builds. We talk about new developments. We talk about all those crazy things. I do want to apologize. This cast is going to be a little crazy hectic for whatever reason. I didn't get a really good opportunity to prepare. Mrs. Corvus has been suffering from some maladies, and so I've been dealing with those, and just kind of ate up my time over the course of today. So it's going to feel a little disjointed, it's going to feel a little crazy, but it doesn't disguise my excitement for the cool things that we're producing in Corvus Saber Foundry. So the first of them is the MPPM. We're going to go over here, so I'm going to swipe the screen. Oh, wait, I went the wrong way. Let me come back. There we go. I'm on this side. Oh, not that one either. There's another one. All right. So for those of you that have been paying attention, this is the MPPM. It is a three-piece component that has a upper shroud, a lower shroud, and a adapter inside of it. This is actually not an adapter, I'm sorry, it is an emitter tip. So this is one of the emitter tips. You can use this interchangeably with all the other emitter tips, generally speaking, which I happen to have here on the side. And you can see they have a little bit of a different height difference to them. Let me see if I can get this zoomed in just a little bit. Boop. Maybe? Nope, I can't go any further. All right. So for any of you that haven't seen this or haven't been aware or around for the last couple of months while this has been going through design, this is a three-piece kit that's designed to fit together and give you a universal MPP structure with just about any lightsaber that is VHC compatible. I've got a bunch of VHC parts over here, kind of on the right-hand side. This is a switch section, and a couple other pieces. But it really honestly works best with a Corvus Saber Foundry set of parts. You can use any switch section or any lower portion, not switch section, you can use any lower section underneath of this accent ring to make this happen. But the bottom line is this is a three-piece kit. It exists of a shroud, an accent ring that has all the trappings of a normal Corvus Saber Foundry accent ring. It has the shimsert technology, which allows you to sandwich it in between different pieces and components. Sorry, I had the wrong piece. Allows you to sandwich it in between different pieces and components to make that sit correctly. And then it also has this emitter tip, which is actually part and parcel to the whole look. And so these three pieces were designed together to give you a very specific Vader look. I wanted it to look just like Vader down throat. So if you were looking down the central portion of the emitter, wow, I completely forgot about my microphone. That's how much I'm off today. So if you were looking down the emitter, you would see this bullnose kind of shape on the inside of the emitter, and it would look pretty close to what an MPP would look from ESB, from Empire Strikes Back, if you weren't aware. And so let me see here one second. I'm peeping something really quick, and I'm trying to get to the stream for people to show them the stream really quick. Hold on a second. Live, here's the live playlist. There's one that's currently going. That's the one. Here's the playlist. I just dropped it into the Discord. If you're in the Discord, that's the thing for you to check out. All right, we're back. Still back. I'm still here. I never left. You can't call it a comeback. Anyways, so these three pieces are designed explicitly to work together to give you the exact Vader look that you want, but that doesn't stop these pieces from being used in any other context, in any other situation. So you might not be able to see it very well here, but oh, there it goes. You can kind of see this well down here that looks like it has a key. That's exactly what it is. It's keyed to the backside of this. So every time you want to put these together, you just align those parts and kind of snap fit them together. It's a very tight fit. When you get yours, you might be concerned that it won't fit. If you have problems with fitment, this is intended to be a zero or a very low tolerance fit. So it's nice and tight, it won't wiggle, it doesn't move. You may end up having to just massage this edge just a little tiny bit to give it some room. And by massage, I mean take some like 1,000 or 2,000 grit sandpaper and just knock the edge down from some of the burrs that might be there from manufacturing. I did put a chamfer on it, but that doesn't change whether or not when you put these together you might cause a burr or something like that. But it's intended to be very tight, right? This is a very tight fit. It's intended to be so. So just keep in mind that when you're putting them together, don't panic. They all fit. I've tested them. So once you make that fitment together, you'll see that these two slots align. That's intentional. This is so that you can connect your shroud to your emitter tip, and that slides right in there, just like that. I'm trying to get this to pivot around here. And what you'll see is that emitter tip aligns perfectly at the base of that slot. It's intended to do that. And this is the best case scenario because this allows you to position your emitter tip inside of the shroud exactly how it's supposed to be, right? It locks it into place. And then you can use any of the parts that you want to make the lower portion of this Vader, or not the lower portion, but like the secondary, not secondary, another body part that's underneath of this. So this is a, what the crap is it called? I can't think of what it's called. This is the cam. This is a cam emitter, excuse me, a cam extension from Vire. It's also seen in a couple other different places that you can get from different vendors, I believe. But basically, once you install this, it locks this piece into place. And you might be asking me, Tim, how the heck am I supposed to secure a blade to this? Well, once you get these two connected and it's all set together, you can take this out, the screw out, and just wiggle your shroud loose. And now you have your blade connected, or your ability to connect a blade down here. And I don't actually have a blade at hand at the moment. I thought that I had something for that, but I don't have one. I wish that I did. This will be the stand-in for a blade. But basically, this is kind of how it would look. And I'm not going to tighten this in, but you would loosen that up just a little bit so that you can see your component underneath of it. You would insert whatever your blade retention is, turn this back around, connect that up, and then reinsert that screw. And all of these will come with this screw. This is the same screw that you get with all the other shrouds. This shroud is about the same size as all of my other Corvus Saber Foundry shrouds. And so it will be the same screw that's installed. Now, there have been some people out there in various places that do 3D printing activities, and some people might be able to make a 3D printed cover for this that looks exactly like the Vader cover, right? Not the Vader cover, but that triangle that Vader usually has on here, and give you the opportunity to screw in something else in here. I might even design it later on, I'm not sure. But what I wanted to get was the 100% MPP shape that you would see in the same metrics, or the same gosh darn it, measurements that you would see. It's scaled. All this is scaled to VHC, and so this is designed to fit that 33 millimeter outer diameter just perfectly. And of course, you can take all these pieces apart. Everybody asks me, hey man, how can I use this in all these other sabers, all these other designs that I want to work with? And let me show you how that works, right? So each of these parts, they all come apart. You can use them in whatever. You can use this as a standalone. I can put this on any other component that I've got to give myself a pretty typical or standard looking emitter end. It's nothing fancy. It's not designed to be anything fancy, but you can put an accent ring in between it, or anywhere in any location that you want, and still give you, something that looks kind of cool. But again, its true design is intended to be used with the MPP shrouds. That doesn't stop it from being used anywhere else, though. It can be used just about any situation, anywhere, right? The really cool bit is this accent ring. And so if you decide to use this in any other location, it has this other mounting slot on it that will prevent it from moving in any other place that you don't want it to go, right? And so I'm going to give you an example using this switch section. This is one of my switch sections on here. I'm just going to drop this on and show you what I mean. You see how that switch section aligns? I got it. I was close. Nope. Okay. See how that switch section aligns right there? It gives you the perfect alignment for this lower piece. So if you want this to lock into a position and you don't want it to go anywhere, you can use another one of them screws that I provide with my shrouds with all those pieces to lock it into a position. This only goes so far down. You can have it push all the way down, but you can see there it becomes just as solid as it's going to be. Gives you the positioning on that MPP accent ring. It's really, really cool. I really, really love it. I think that it's awesome. Take that piece off of there. Now it's available for use, again, anywhere else that you want to put it on. But the cool part about this is that it goes pretty well with all of my other parts, and so I'm going to go ahead and do some playing around. This well right here in the bottom, or in the top of this, is actually the same size as all the other wells in the accent rings. And so inside of this accent ring, it's 2 1/4. Inside of this accent ring, it's 2 1/4. So it fits all the normal shapes and sizes that you would find in all of my parts. Let me grab one of my adapters that is the correct size. This is a male type 1, or a type A now, as I have it called. Type 1. It's a type 1A version or variant. right? That fits in, and that makes that flush right up against that. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we want it to look like, because you can add this into other parts as well. So let me throw something on the bottom of this to secure it really quick. We're just going to put one of these in here. It's going to give it something interesting to look at. Sock this guy in like that, and put that on like this, right? This is the this is a accent. This is the MPP M accent ring with the emitter tip type 1. This is the first emitter tip that we produced here at Corvus Saber Foundry, and I'm going to put the type 0 accent emitter tip on it here. And look at that. Now you have something that you've never seen before in VHC, which is the variability of taking off this lower band and putting it anywhere else on a lightsaber. You see it in a lot of the custom builds. You see them using these bands everywhere in the custom builds, like down on the bottom of the grip, up at the top by the emitter section, all kinds of places where people are using this, but it's separated from the shroud portion of it. It never existed for VHC. Now it does. Here's the thing that just came into happening. Oh, that's really cool looking too. Look at that. We just figured out a new thing. So this is one of the cool bits of this. You can stick one of these other emitter tips on here, and because this is built for, let me see if I can make this work. Yep. Okay, there we go. My goodness, it's like I planned that one. I did that pretty good, huh? So all we did is we put the type 1 emitter flange in between each of these components, and look at that, it aligns almost perfectly to this piece. Now we have something that looks very much like a it looks a lot like a a Kanan almost. Has like a Kanan / Vader vibe. So that looks pretty cool. I'm actually going to snap a picture of that because that's freaking awesome. Let me grab my phone really quick, snap a pic for posterity purposes, and say, hey guys, look at this crap you can make. Bam. Nailed it. All right, so that looks pretty cool. I really like that. It kind of gives it a nice vibe, I think. Unfortunately, this isn't going to quite work with this just yet. I have a couple more components that I'm working on right now, which is number 1 will be a 5mm extension. I have it made, I just don't have it produced yet. And what that'll do is that'll fill this gap in between these two parts, and it'll allow you to stack this up because this has a little bit of a negative well inside of the base of it. And so it makes it just a little, it won't go fully into this connection point here, and it should. If you want it to fit there, it should fit fully into there, and it does not. So a little oversight or a little lack of vision on my side, and not necessarily a lack of vision, just a lack of parts at this point. I knew it was going to be a thing. I knew that we needed to get a 5mm component in here. I just didn't have it, the financials available at the time to handle that and to get it out. So it's coming. The things are developing very quickly, and we're moving along at a pretty good clip to get this stuff sorted out and get it to your hands just as soon as possible. And so far I've only showed you the accent ring in use, but what I haven't shown you is this emitter tip in use itself, right? Not just the tip, but the accent, the shroud, sorry, in use on its own. And so you can connect this just about anywhere, and the outer diameter is pretty darn close to. It actually works a lot better on one of these other ones, one of these other emitter tips, and I'll show you a quick look at it really fast. It works really well on that guy too, because I can drop this into here and put another component on it, maybe. Let's see. It actually works really good with a, where did it go? There it is. That's what I'm looking for. I was looking for a female type 1. So the distance on this is a 17mm adjustment, area of adjustment, which means if you stack one of my 14mm pieces on here, the land for all the basically for all of the screw in points is about 5mm, and so half of 5mm is 2.5, which puts it well within that window of adjustment to be able to give you this kind of look. And so I'm just going to drop that down just a smidge so that I can see an accent ring connect to it. So here it's a little bit more than 2.5, or 2.25, but here you get a pretty good look at what a emitter would look like with just an accent ring and the shroud on it. I think that looks pretty dang fetching, and I'm gonna do a thing here really quick and slap a What am I going to put on here? Slap a component in here really quick. See what it'll do. Let's just try this one out. I really like the look of this. Thin neck combo. It doesn't leave a lot of... it doesn't leave too much more than an inch worth of space over here to be able to do work with it, right? But you can kind of set this down. You can pull it all the way up if you want to. It gives you the appearance of height and gives you a little bit of nestling look for that castellated component right there. But overall, gives you a nice look for a pretty legit looking almost Vader. We'll call it an almost Vader. That's pretty cool. For the MPPM shroud. And so, to my knowledge, right now there is not a company or an organization that is producing a shroud quite like this. Something that's interchangeable, usable. So I'm proudly going to say that this is a first-to-market kind of invention that is really fitting in the innovative nature of Corvus Saber Foundry. I love it. I think that it's awesome. I think that you're going to love it. I can't wait for you to get it. Again, if you're just joining me or you're just getting to the stream or you caught it part way in, these parts are live now on the site for those of you that are in the murder, in the murder and on the streams. I'm just typing in the Discord right now and letting everyone know that the parts are live. So the MPPM is live for the people that are watching the stream or have decided to join the Discord. It's live for everybody technically, but nobody's going to know until I announce it to the world that it's available and live, right? Sorry, I had something that kind of upset my stomach, I guess, and I'm getting a little burpy. So sorry if I have some momentary lapses in chat while I try to clear that. But MPP is live for purchase now. For the rest of the world tomorrow. For the rest of the world. All right, so we here, we ready, we doing it. I think I just demonstrated all the cool things. I can show you some more examples of what this will look like once you start playing around with it a bit more. I think I'm going to actually expand this by just a smidge and give it a. I'm going to put this knurled band in here. I'm taking apart this one fella's build that he put together for me. I'm going to put this knurled band in here and see what this looks like. I think it's going to look stinking awesome. There we go. Oh, that's good. Look, that looks good. And let's throw one of these in here. Whoop. Oh my goodness. Oh my good. Man, what have I done? What have I done? All right, that's the Type 4 ring, kind of nestled in with a, where did I put that thing? I can't see. There we go. Bam. All right. That's the Type 4 ring with a Type 1, I think, Bravo or Alpha, Type 1.1 Alpha knurled band inside of that. That would give you some nice depth and a pretty good handhold for your emitter grasping needs when you're whipping this thing around, tearing up some Jedi. All right, there's that there. I think I can drop this down just a smidge. Yep, that looks good. A little smidge drop. Let me find this other one that I got. I got a vertical banded one. Beep boop. There we go. Sounds like my Discord is popping off because people are seeing that these parts are available now. So let me put this one in here really fast. I like this. I think that looks good. Yep. Nice. Ooh, shoot. What have I done? All right. There we go. Another combination in there. That's a vertical knurling. It kind of echoes this little piece over here. And I think it looks okay. There we go, get a little reflection. It is murder over here trying to show you these parts without anything reflecting off of the backside. It's really tough to show you this stuff. But I think that looks really nice too. I like it. Anyways, that's the MPPM. It's now Oh my goodness, rest in peace your ears. Rip. Sorry guys. So anyways, yeah, the MPPM is now live. It's available and it's now on the store ready for your purchase. So excited for you guys to get this in your hands and start playing with it, start making some lightsabers out of it. Let's start doing big things, and we'll talk about what's coming next here in just a minute. You can kind of see how all these things break down, nice and easy like, and that's that. We talked last week about things that are coming and things that are going to be arriving soon, and so one of the things that's coming is a new accent ring that is the CoverTech accent ring, and if you guys haven't heard about it yet, you probably should peek your ears up just a little bit and listen. Because I made an accent ring specifically designed to support contoured CoverTech rings. And so I've got the designs on screen right now, but I also have a prototype in my hands. It's the first prototype. I'm going to show it to you here really quick. And so here this is. It's in your face now. Hopefully the autofocus comes up and will work for me. Here we go. Again, it's just like almost all of your just like almost all of your accent rings. It has the shim cert inside of there. Why is this thing not focusing worth a damn tonight? Oh, shoot. Why did it do that? Oh, man. My light just blew up in my face. Hang on a second. All right, that was wild. My overhead light or my key light changed color. It changed from my off-white color and blew up into bright white maximum intensity because of the remote. Apparently, these Chinese systems that I have that I'm using are all connected by the same remote, and so to change the resolution on my camera, or not resolution, but the focus on my camera to a 5x or 7x, and gradually do it by increments is also linked to my light for whatever stupid reason. So forgive me if I drop an F-bomb about it. I'm pretty pissed. It's stupid. Anyways, let me get this back into your field of view. This is the prototype for the CoverTech accent ring. It's going to be two pieces, going to be released as a kit. It'll be CoverTech ring and CoverTech wheel here. I have since revised this design just a little bit to make it a little bit closer in style to the Type 2.1 ring, and I'll show you that in just a minute, and you can see the similarities between the two of them. But I did want to put this onto a part and show you what this looks like. So there, yeah, it's got the same inner diameter as almost all of my accent rings. It's 33 and 1/15 or something, or 1/8, I don't know, 33.15. So you can see that there, how this connects in. I hope that whoever is joining the conversation here got a chance to go back and look at the beginning of the cast, because there was a lot of discussion. The MPPM is currently live. It is available for purchase if you're interested in it. Anyways, this is the CoverTech band again, and you can see this CoverTech wheel is I have my own design for this that I've produced, as well as this ring, and so these will be releasing probably in the beginning of April. They went to production last Monday, so they're a week now into production. They should be another 3 weeks. We're looking at like mid-April, middle to late March for production run finish, and in my hands by the beginning of April. So we'll have that then. So we'll have a CSK launch in between that point, and a couple other things probably coming. And then I got to work on what I'm going to do for May 4th. I got to get those designs into my producer for that. I think I'm going to do an Obi-Wan Kenobi thing. I'm going to finish my Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff, I think. And then start working on curves. I had a couple of ideas hit me this week. But anyways, the CoverTech ring and CoverTech wheel, they're coming. They are in production and will be coming soon. I'm really excited to see these come out, and I know that there are a lot of people that are really interested in them. If there's enough interest and they sell well enough, I'll start producing these in other flavors as well. So they'll probably get one that'll match this guy here, which is the Type 1, and then one that'll match this dude here, which is Type 2, wherever that went to. I can't find it. Shit. Ah, there it is. The Type 2. So something without the internal ring here, or the internal dominance. And then this type 2.1, we might get one that looks a little bit closer to this rounded one. And heck, we might even get one that's kind of related to, probably not that one. These are the simplest ones that I can get made that are really relatively easy to produce and pretty straightforward. And they go with just about anything depending on what you end up building with. So, if you were to use another accent sleeve or an accent tip or cap or something like that, maybe I can make one that has something that's reminiscent of one of these guys, or even make an accent cap or tip, an accent cap that is that has one of these ring sections built into it, so that you can mount those up some way or shape or form. I don't know yet. I haven't decided on whether that's going to be a thing. I might end up reserving this CoverTech piece for a much larger component farther down the line that has a significantly larger outer diameter to it, so that we can start mounting these things which way. Anyways, that's it. That's from that part of it. I mean, that's not it for the cast. That's it for that part. So just give me a second. Let me get these gloves off, and I'll switch over. Last week I tried to do a Let's Design with the gloves on my hands, and it was a train wreck. So just give me a second. Let me get this stuff off here. We'll get her done just a second. So there we go. Got that taken care of. Barehanded, and I'm going to swap back to this here scene. So that's the stuff that we've got available right now. The MPPM has just launched. It's available on the site right now. And if you want to grab it up, scoop it up for the people who are in the murder and those of you who are in the cast, you guys are getting firsthand receipts right now that it's on. It's available. You can grab them. Do your thing. Sorry, it's a little chilly down here. I got my thermostats replaced recently, and so the temperature hasn't quite leveled off the way that I want it to, and we're still like fiddling and pushing buttons trying to figure out this new smart thermostat thing. So I'm rocking a beanie cap today because it's a little on the cool side, and I don't normally do that. Of course, you can see my bald head typically, so whatever. All right, I'm going to swap over here. We're going to swipe that direction, and you're going to see in front of you, this is the CoverTech ring, and for comparison, I've got the Type 2.1 ring in there, and I can see that I made a mistake. There's a little bit of a chamfer on this that I didn't put on that. So hopefully you guys don't see that. That chamfer is like a really tiny, like minuscule thing. It shouldn't show up or be too visible when you guys start playing around with it. It should look pretty clean all the way through. It has the same, it looks like it's got about the same shape and size all the way around, so ultimately pretty happy with that. I think that's going to look really good when you start combining these two pieces together. I can't tell if anybody's been chatting or not. I don't see anything. No movement in the regular chat for the YouTube video. So that's those pieces. I guess I could throw together something to look at. What were we going to do? Some of the other pieces that are coming. I've been getting a lot of questions and asks for bent pieces or curved pieces. And so like earlier this week, I was thinking about something. I thought that it would be really, really cool. I got two ideas in my brain, and I don't really want to spill the beans on both of them just yet. One of them will be fine. I've already talked to a couple of people about the first one, but the second one, we're gonna kind of play around with an idea really fast. And unfortunately, I don't know exactly how the tool works inside of Fusion 360. I should have prepared for this a little bit closer, but you can make parts like move, right? And so, like one of the ideas that I had was I want to make some sort of pivot, and it came to me the other day when I was sitting around. I was like, well, right now we have a 45-degree component that doesn't allow parts, like it doesn't allow any electrons to pass through it. You literally have to like trim a wire and like put a connector on it and make it all work to pass that wire through that piece because the Saber doesn't bend. The electronics components don't bend. And currently nobody offers a like pass-through kit for that is like a pin section, like you have your pins that transmit the energy into the corner and then pins that come out of the corner so that you can feed all the energy throughout the rest of the Saber. So I was like, anyway, people are going to be messing around with this. They're going to have these pieces that are going to be kind of wonky if they're going to try and build a bent Saber. So why am I playing around with one or two pieces or three pieces that are complete whole pieces? Why can't I just offer you a type of bend component? And like, this is just a pure like thought process. It's not like 100% set in stone that this is how this is going to be. I don't even know how to execute this perfectly. And so like, I'm just going to kind of have, we'll call it a stream of consciousness in this part of the discussion. And so I thought about this the other day. I said, what if I could provide you an option that gives you not like one or two pieces, but I could give you an entire range of curved, not curved pieces, bent pieces in one piece. And so the only way that I thought about being able to do that was to make a hinge component, something that allows it to hinge basically like this, right? So you would start at 0 and you would go in 5%, 5-degree increments all the way to 45, right? And so that would give you basically the option to make a slightly curved, a mostly curved, a something curved, and currently there is not a product on the market that does that. To my knowledge, the only thing that gets kind of close and interesting is the black or green mamba. And those don't actually technically move. They just have parts that are naked and open. And so VHC doesn't have anything like that. So why not make something like that? Let's explore this idea and play around. It's going to look a lot like maybe like an umbrella hinge. Like if you've seen like an umbrella, it has two poles out either side and there's a hinge point, and usually it does kind of one of these numbers. It's going to look something similar to that, but probably like clamshell shape like this with a wafer type pass through in the middle that will allow that level of adjustment and also protect the wires from contact with all the yucky things that you don't want to contact with, like pinching and doing all these things. I don't know exactly how I'm going to make that just yet, but it's in the noodle to be able to make something like that. I'm going to try it out. Let's just see what happens. Unfortunately, it looks like I am at 10 of 10 for my images here. Or not images, my designs. So I got to kind of clean some of this crap up. Just give me a second here really fast, and then we're going to slap these ideas together. If you guys are listening or you think that this idea is dumb, please, by all means, say, hey, this is dumb. And we'll scrap it and we'll do something else. Also, down here at the bottom, if you can see it, I've got these two utility shrouds or utility rings. Excuse me. These two utility rings that are double and single shroud styles. I showed a lot of you guys this on the Discord last week, kind of discussing what it would be like to have not shrouds. I want to say not shrouds, but what it would be like to have a shroud that's not mounted to the body of the Saber. And so this is a 2mm ring with a, let me see how size this is, 1.5 or 2mm dominance on it that lifts off of the Saber and allows you to connect a shroud directly to this ring as opposed to connecting it to your Saber. It just makes a little bit of variance in where you can mount and how you can mount these things, and it's kind of led me down a path to explore this like single shroud style, and then there's another double shroud style, and I've even discussed mentally like what it's like to put a triple on here, right? Let's put a threesome or a 3-pack on here and maybe get a different set of shrouds together. So this is something that I'm kind of exploring. I don't know exactly if it's going to work. It wouldn't be doable because I would be concerned that there would be like danger to these kind of stress points on the Saber. These corners here are stress points, and whenever you start jamming stuff against things that are attached to them, they'll start building cracks, right? Like anytime you have a firm edge, not a firm edge, a strong corner on anything, that corner becomes a stress point. And that's just something I learned from jet engineering. You always want to have like radiused edges if there's going to be like hits or vibrations or anything that's going to be affecting this. So I'm still working out what the details are on that specifically, but I really like the idea of having options for mounting shrouds. And this would allow you to use 2 screws, mount whatever shrouds. I can throw a shroud out here really quickly and give you a gee-whiz look at it before we start diving into this other design. I'm going to have to do that really quick because I decided to go off on a tangent here really fast. Let's give me some shrouds here really quick. Let me just stop and cast this out here and get that up off of there just a smidge. Yeah, there we go. So that's what it would look like, and you can see where the body of the Saber would fit kind of in this space here. That way it would give you kind of a standoff appearance from your shrouds. Let me see if I can't find a body component to drop in this piece really fast. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to put a diamond knurl out there. All right, diamond knurl coming out. If I can get it to work, here we go. Yep, okay. I just needed it to show you how that fits. I did bring the outer diameter of this back to about a 30 or a 31.5 so that it would look good when you start putting other pieces together with it, right? If you start putting other components on it, it will look like it's retracted or withdrawn in just a little bit from the big outer diameter, and just give a little bit of nuance to it. And so that's what that looks like. It's not perfect. I have to probably build this out a little bit deeper to give you a better idea of what that looks like with a full emitter section on it. But that's basically the gist of it. Let me dive into this really fast. I got some bits in here that can work. I think I got something there. Let's pull that out of there. All right, this is a bishop. I'm going to pull this 1.1 out of here really fast. Let's delete that thing. This is a Vire bishop, or what it would be. So I'll drop that right onto that, and there you go. You kind of get an idea on what that would look like. It's very subtle, like understated. It's hard to even tell that that's lifted off of there, but it just gives a little bit of backspacing on that shroud, so that it stands off of the body proud just a little tiny bit. I think that it looks cool, and it's very well could be an option. Unfortunately, because of the way that it is and the way that it's shaped, it eats up 2 millimeters of your thread. And so out of 7 millimeters of thread depth, you're going to be working with 5 in whatever part that you're going to screw it into. It might be a gamble that you're willing to work with, or it might be something that I just design a specific adapter to go with this. I'm not 100% certain on how I want to handle that just yet, because technically 5 millimeters of thread depth is still okay. It's what I've seen it on some other VHC components before that have not been quite as good, and I've even seen it in other manufacturers where they have a very small thread depth, like 2 or even 3 millimeters worth of thread depth for like main body components, like screwing your grip on. I've seen stuff like that on like Starfall and what's that, Kennedy Customs. I've seen that with like a very tiny thread depth, and so losing a couple threads probably isn't going to be that big of an issue. I think that it might be kind of okay, but anyways, it's just kind of some things that particular things in the pipeline. This is kind of back to where we started here and what we wanted to design, which was a pivoting angle, so give you as many angles as we possibly can. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw a quick design out here, just something to play around and explore the concept a little bit, because I don't get to do this in my normal day-to-day life, I guess. Why are you not letting me catch this? Why is that happening? Yeah, let's do that. Let's get rid of that crap. For some reason, it was fighting me, saying I don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. Got it. We're gonna go with a standard, like a standard depth here, which is about, we'll go 14. I don't know what we got here. Oh shoot! Got some orders coming in already. People picking them up. I like it. I like it. I like you guys. I like you guys a lot, actually. All right. So how do we want to do this? The thing that I have in my brain is kind of something that looks a little bit like a pivot, a half pivot. And so I want to draw this line that goes from here up to the edge of, I guess from the edge of that up here and from the edge of this. And I want to capture basically this. Man, why is that so annoying? Okay. And I want to capture one side of this, and I just want to split it in half. And so I'm going to double that length there, back out to 14. I actually think that I need it to be longer than that, maybe. Maybe. Because this is 33 millimeters, I think what we have to do is extend that to that 33 millimeter mark, because we're going to round the end of it to make the second component here. So I'm actually going to take that out to what was it, 14 previously, 28, and I need to go 4 more, 28, 29, 30, 5 more. So I need to go to 19. So take this out to 19, and that should make a 33 millimeter diameter cut space if I wanted to shape that. Now, how do I do that? I'm not 100% certain. I guess we're going to round this back. We're going to try this and see how this goes. I think. Hey, look at that. It's working. I didn't know that I could do that. I'm so stupid. Oh, shoot. All right. Let's go 16.5. No, that's not it. 0.5. 0.7. 0.8. 0.5. 0.5 looks good. Let's do 16.5. That's close enough. All right. So basically that is going to make the beginnings of what this is going to be. And so if you can kind of see this visually, if you duplicate this on the other side, I realize that that looks really, really bad. If you look at here, we're going to actually pull this back just a little bit. I want to extrude that back that direction a smidge. And the reason we're going to do that is we're going to make this gap where we want to put in a, let's see here, we are currently at, what is that? I believe that will be 33 millimeters. What is that going to be? My brain's not working. It's 16 and a half. 16 and a half that diameter should be. So I want to split this out just about another millimeter or 2. That should give me 2 millimeters on both sides of this, or I can build, let's go 3. And that should give me a couple of millimeters on both sides of this, where I can put in a gap space to slide something in between. So the important element here that we're going to build, and I need to start a new body, our new sketch on a different plane. And we're actually going to split this really fast. So we'll add a new part. We're going to, I should design it inside of that one, but we're going to do this. We want to go 33 millimeters. Okay, and this is going to be a really tiny one. It's only going to be like 3 or 4 millimeters wide. And the intent, let's see here, let me try that again. Actually going to make it 5 millimeters. Let's try that. Okay. And we're going to poke a hole in the middle of it. And that hole is going to be 4 millimeters in diameter. You can kind of see, I think, where I'm going with this. You know what? Let's do, let's make it 5. This is a special part. We want it to be specially strong. So we're going to make a 5. Yep, just like that. And then from this side, I need to build a pass-through. How am I going to do that one? I don't want it to be over top of it, I don't think. So what I'm trying to look at this here is I want to push a cable pass-through so that it's at a 45-degree bend, basically inside of it, so that maybe actually not even 45 degrees, a little bit wider than 45 degrees. It needs to probably be, you know, a 60 to 70 degree like bend inside of that space with ample distance to the bottom and ample distance to the top, so that when you bend this in half, the wire won't get pinched in any of those locations. It just is a nice like slide through from one side to the other. And so what I'm going to have to do here, I think, is run that pass through kind of on this side, but I can't really angle it very well. At least not with the skills that I have for this stupid podcast. So I'm gonna construct a tangent plane on this side, and I'm going to, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna punch a line or punch a hole in this in the center, and I think I've got it showing there. I want to be able to see that just a little bit. I'm gonna go 3 millimeters by however many that was. I can't tell. And 3 millimeters and 3 millimeters. Whoops. Okay. And we're just going to use this to punch a hole through the bottom here. I think that that's probably safe enough, because I could just put the the electronics pass there on that bottom. I think that's probably safest, because if it goes over top, the angle when it increases will stretch that cord. So I think it's better to run it underneath the bottom, just like we're doing it here. and give it just enough space to be able to do what it needs to do. And I think this actually is perfect, simply because it will give it just enough. Come on, dudes. There we go, 1.5. That's what I wanted. And it actually does exactly what I was planning it to do. Instead of adding that like curve over top of it, the actual part itself, because it's curved, provides that relief on the bottom portion of it, which is what I was trying to do with the way I was planning to curve it inside of that part anyway. So we're going to go to 1.5 there, and then that's going to give us the wheel. We'll call it the wheel. Okay, I want to put a gentle curve on this. Of course, there's no embellishments right now. It's not anything fancy or pretty. It's just a concept, like conceptualization of a part. So we're going to put these in here like this, and chamfer that just a bit. Make sure that looks clean. And let me see where I can put this at. I have a... Where did I put the adapters? Where did I put those? You know what? I'm going to put them in dev. We'll just put them into... Yeah, dev projects. That's how we're going to do this. All right. Save it. Stick it into... This is the all bend. Called the all bend and wheel. That's going to go directly into the dev projects. Boop. There we go. All right. Got it. Now we're going to come back to our untitled space here and drag that out and see what it looks like up against it. I probably could have just built it inside of it, but I like having the separation just a little bit. I say it, there it is. Convert that to an assembly and see what it do. All right. All right, we're gonna pivot that just a smidge and see what this thing do. All right, so that is the concept there for that middle section. We drew it back about 5 millimeters total, and so what we wanted was that wheel to fit exactly like we're talking about, just like that. Okay. Okay, let me pull that out of there really quick. And we're going to save this after I do a couple of things. And you're probably going to laugh at me because basically I just made a umbrella hinge for a lightsaber, but when I put these pieces together, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be freaking sick. And you're going to be like, who did this? Actually, you probably won't, honestly. So the idea here is what I'm going to put essentially in this quadrant is a series of gradations that are triangular in shape, basically, that will allow you to loosen that gap, make a pivot, and then tighten it back into place so that the alligator teeth basically will lock. And so it'll do it on both sides of this piece. And it will lock onto that spacer. And so I'll be cutting some shapes onto that spacer to hold it into place. And I'll show you what that's going to look like here in just 1 second. I'm actually going to do this. We're going to catch that 5 millimeter hole and shoot it straight through. Whoops, not that. We're going to shoot that straight through, out the other side. And I'll come back around and I'll fix this on this other side with a detent, not a detent, but a counterpunch, basically. Oh my gosh, my brain's not working. With a recess to hold a screw. That's the important bit. It's going to hold a screw. And we'll put some embellishments on the outside of it. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like just yet, because I'm trying to work on the mechanical function of this piece. And so first off, I want to catch a circle there, and I want to catch a circle here, because I'm going to use this circle to define the rest of the parts that are going to be going into this. And so just bear with me here. We're going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to put a 1 millimeter circle there and a 1 millimeter circle there, and we're going to draw some lines from that point to that point and that point to that point. And this is just going to give you a notional concept of what this shape is going to be. I want this to be retracted in 1 millimeter in there. And I actually think that we're probably in the, let's see, mental space. I need that to go over the top, I think. Let's see. When it pivots, it needs to go, whatever is down on the bottom portion needs to go up over the top. So this might be 2 components, but what we'll do, it will really only literally work in one direction, and my plan is to put a stop in it that will stop it from working in any other direction. And so we're going to make a quick pattern, a circular pattern here off of this face with this feature, this object here, and we'll make it on this, which axis? We want it to be on this axis. Nope, that's not the one. Whoops, I did the wrong one. Give me a second here. Let's see, make a pattern, make it circular, do a feature. That feature is the one I want, and I want it to be an axis. Oh, that's annoying. It's on the right axis, but it's not on the right pivot. I needed to loop around basically that hole, and so I got to fill around with it here just a little bit. Actually approaching the end of the cast already, which is kind of crappy. Let me see here. I want that piece to go around that. So how do I do that? We're going to try again. But the idea here is you can kind of see, I'm going to put these graduations all the way around this hole so that it gives you some stopping points for your pivot to work and do its thing. I'm going to save this pivot and I'll give you an idea on what this is going to look like here in just a second. So I want this object, oops, I want this feature, and I want it to go around this axis. There we go, I got it. I got it to work. All right, there's a lot of these here, and so I want to do a partial, and I only want to go through a certain range. And so what you're going to see is I'm going to push these into a 45-degree angle, and let's do a 90. Let's do 90 just in case, just to give you an idea on what it's going to look like. I'm going to push these into a 90 shape, and it will give you a general idea on how this is going to work. So when you put these two pieces together in opposition to one another and they mate with the face on the other one, you loosen the screw up. It'll allow you to pull it out just a little bit and then pivot it and then stick it back together and make yourself the shape that you want it to be in based on where that Saber component is in relation to the axis that it's pivoting here. And so we're just going to let this sit like this. It's not perfect. In fact, it would look like, because of the way that that's pivoting, it's going that way. So let me readjust that really quick and flip it to the, let me pull it around this way. Nope, not that, not that, not that, not that. Here we go. That's the way I want it to go. Negative 90 degrees. This is just a gee whiz, just a notional idea. So basically what you'd be looking at is this piece would be this one on this side. It's going to stay put, and this piece is going to rotate downward into that space. It could go all the way to 90 if you wanted it to go. I'm not going to let it do that. This is all, again, just notional idea on how this is going to look. So we've got the first glance at that piece. I'm going to give this a little bit of shape here, and we're going to knock that out to a 29, which is where we need to go. Give it 7 depth. Give it 7 here, and we had talked about the wheel that's going to be in between these parts, having the hole down there on the bottom portion of it, right? The lower area. And so we want to cut this exit hole on this end, kind of on the lower portion of it. And so we're going to do one of these numbers, and I want to cut a square here, basically on this lower portion. And I think we did it by 3 millimeters or 5 millimeters. That's fine. We'll make it 5. This will be safe enough. We'll set that. We'll set the tone. Set the tone. Here we go. Man, I really screwed that up, didn't I? All right. Let's drive. You know what that is? I see what that is. That is the exit hole on that side. So we're gonna show you that, what that looks like. See why it cuts kind of that space right there is because it is seeing that angle kind of right in that area. And that's okay. That's kind of what we want. I want that space to be there so that it's got plenty of ability to make space for all the components that are going to be fitting through that. Dang it. Why did I do that? Nope. There we go. Okay. All right. Fillet that thing. A little fillet of fish there, bud. Okay. And we're just going to get that just like that so that it looks kind of cool. Grab that all bend wheel and stick it in the middle of that space and show you what that looks like really fast, right? 90 degrees adjustment. So you can kind of see the idea that that will give you that space to manipulate this component north and south. I might actually push that up just a little bit, this one up just a little bit higher, so there's not a potential for that to happen, as you can kind of see there, or pull this other one down a little bit lower. 1 second here. All right, I had to get a drink of water there. Let me pull this back here really fast, and we'll put that on there like this. And you got an idea on what that might kind of look like. Let me do this other thing really fast. Let me get this out of here. I'm going to save this as one side, and I'm going to get the whole look at it before we close this off here. So this is going to be the all bend, all bend adapter. Get that out there. All right, cool. So as you can tell, I'm going to have a second one of these. It's going to be necessary. I'm going to have to get them both into position to do this thing. I needed to get that wheel adapter out of there to save it so that I can pull the other adapter in. But there's that, and here's an all bend adapter. Of course, I can't do that. Let me copy that really fast, and oh crap. Of course, I went right up against the wall there with parts, so I'm going to copy this dude and put it in that space, and we're going to rename it to all bend 2. And that way, that'll give us an opportunity to look at this part as it would look like on the Saber. And of course, you can see it there. We'll just go ahead and extricate this guy. And then 180 it. Okay. There it goes. Oh, it tricked me. See the shadow down there on the bottom, how it's supposed to look. I'll probably do some adjustments to this. You know, I just have some generic shapes here that I was kind of going with to get the idea. But you can kind of see what the shape, how it's going to shape up in here. Actually, I could pull this out a little bit and make that wider. That's actually a good idea. So you can see kind of a generic concept there. Actually, what we'll do is we'll do this. Let's look at all of the documents that we have open here. Let's make that read only. Okay. And we will actually just do this really fast. Let's open that, and we will expand it just a smidge. We'll go to 7. One sec. All right, now we got the wheel expanded. It's going to tell me I got updates that I need to change. Let's change it. Get the latest version. Open that thing up. Yeah, boy. That's what it looks like. Okay, cool. So we got an idea of conceptually how this is going to work. And let me just grab this here really quick, and I'm just going to give it a shape. I'm going to move it. Give it 25 degrees. Because it can move in 5 degree increments, you can get those goofy degrees that you kind of want to see, right? you might want to try experiment with to just play around and see what it's going to do for you as a saber wielder. Of course, I'm not going to recommend that this be used for dueling. It might not be the best case scenario for dueling, but it gets you an idea on what a 25-degree saber would look like. I'll put some body parts on this just as a last minute showdown, since I did get started about 5 minutes late. You can kind of imagine what this would look like on a saber with electrical components kind of passing through those gaps into the places where they're supposed to go. Let me see what I can find. And yes, I do agree that it does look like an umbrella like angle piece, but that's where the inspiration came from. So maybe a little bit of embellishment, a little bit of changes, and some things to make it look more swarzy, and it will shine. It will look the way that it's. You know what? I got some of these pieces in here. So let's just call it an emitter tip. Let's put an emitter tip out here. Let's put that on this angled bit here. Let's do like a negative 25. Let's not do that. Negative 25. There we go. Oh, poop. All right. It's not perfect. It's not amazing. I could probably reduce the size and shape of this just a little bit and bring it down so that it isn't quite so long. So it'll be like a 7mm piece instead of a 14mm extension part here, because that does make it quite long, right? I think that I've got a couple of bends in the dev section here that are just shorter in general. Where did I put them at? Nope, they're not in here. Nope, not there. Again, just a thought experiment. I'm trying to play around with concepts, play around with some ideas, see where this is going to end up. It might get some more massaging just to test the waters, see what it's going to do. Let me see here. Let's get a switch section out here. And you could put a second one of these, down on this end if you wanted to make a full curve saber. You could do all kinds of interesting things. As I look at it, I'm not as pleased with it as I'd like to be. It's just an idea. It could be fun. It could be something to play around with. Not everything's going to hit every single time, but it's worth it to think about it, right? The way that it could look, the potentiality, we'll call it. Let me see if I can get this on here. Body sections. We'll put this in here. Okay. Yeah, clearly that's a little bit on the long side. Maybe not a fan of it yet, but it could become a thing. Let me look and see if I got another adapter in here. I got switches, complex adapters. Where's the bends? I have way too many things designed and not enough things earmarked for what they're supposed to be. Where did I put it? Let me search. Got a bunch of parts. Here it is. There's a 30-degree bend. Just to give a shape, like a general shape idea here. Here's what the 30-degree bend would look like if you had it in another location. Yeah. So even if I shortened these up by a magnitude here, you're still going to have to deal with this mechanism in the inside, and it's still going to end up longer than kind of what you want to. So it might just be easier to manufacture just a straight 30-degree. This one is a typical VHC male-female format. I would modify it to be in a female-female for a future state, but this bend is something that I've been kind of after for a while, and I've been wanting to get this done. And I was looking for something that would be kind of cool to produce one that does all bends. So I could get a 0-degree saber all the way up to like a 45-degree bend if you wanted. But I think that the size of it is just a little too much. It's a little too big. And while it was kind of a novel idea, it might not be the thing that I wanted to do. It might not end up being the thing that I do. You could probably do something different with a wheel, kind of, and maybe do like a pair of these kind kind of a pair of clevises where a wheel fits inside of it, and so you have that pivot happen in a tighter space instead of doing this type of pivot. Essentially, you'd have one end that has a male clevis end and another end that has a female clevis end, and it fits over top of it with a pin that fits between it, and then you would feed the electrics between in that pin. Basically, the pin would serve as the pivot for the electrics inside of there, or you could come up with any number of different ways, but you would have to find a way to lock that pin into place and make it safe enough to put the electrics through it so that it doesn't like make it all wobbly and goofy, and put a stop inside of it. So maybe that's the way to go forward. But even then, you're still looking at something that's even longer. So in the near future, I'm looking at these bends. I like them. I think that they're cool. I think that I have an idea to make them more feasible as a component that are not as tedious as like unscrewing and being all goofy with like taking 7 threads worth off and putting 7 threads back on when you're trying to configure something like this. I think I have a solution for that. That will be maybe, I don't know, I want to say maybe next cast or maybe a future cast or something like that when I start discussing it. But we're over time right now, and we're basically at the end of the line for the evening. So again, my name is Tim. This has been the Corvus Cast. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I know that we had 2 people that stuck around and watched the viewing. I think we jumped up to 3. It's not my highest count cast, but it's a really important one. Because we released the MPPM. That's right, a modular Vader from Empire Strikes Back. It's available for purchase now on the site. Come and get it while it's hot. It's available in 3 versions, or actually 4 versions. 2 versions. There's a full kit that you can buy all the part components for that modular MPP together at one time, or you can buy them individually. The costs are the same between the 2. I couldn't put a discount on it just because of how expensive the MPPM was to manufacture. And so once we get over the hump for like the return on investment for the parts, which is like, 45 or 50 sales at this point, I think, half of them, I can start talking about discounting it and bringing it down. But it was one of the most expensive parts that I've ever manufactured. And I did it only because I wanted to see the MPP out in VHC. That's something that we don't have available to us. So I'm going to claim it. I'm going to say it. An industry first modular Vader MPP style shroud. I'm really excited about it. I love it. I think this is so cool. I can't wait to see the builds that you guys put on with it. Please send me pictures of your builds when you finish using it. I want to see what you're producing. Again, my name's Tim. This was the Corvus Cast. I'm out. It's time to go hang out with the family for a little bit. So I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Love you guys.